back to my channel. Light fam, light gang, squad deep. Hey guys, I hope you're good. And hi, if this is your first time on my channel, thank you for joining me. If you want to become part of my light fam, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below and click the bell next to it so you get notified every time I post a new video. Let's get into this video, guys. So recently, I like saying so, right? Give this a thumbs up if I like saying so. So maybe like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I saw this article about how in China the rate of divorce spiked. It went up due to the lockdown that they had because of the whole corona situation. So this video is basically, like the title says below, how to stay married during the lockdown and after the lockdown as well. I'm gonna share a few things, a few tips to help us stay married, guys, because this corona thing is just hitting everything. Gender-based violence, marriages, you know, like it's just very wild at the moment. So I'm gonna share a few things with you guys that you can do with your spouse. This is more of like a wife chat, because the Bible says that which God has put together, no man must put asunder. So I'm talking to the wives today. I'm talking to the wives, and I'm just gonna share like what I feel are those little things, you know, that we need, that weaponry that we need in order for our marriages to stand during this time. Because I feel like there is an attack on marriages. Definitely there's an attack on family, because with everything, like, it can either be really good or really bad. Like with this lockdown, in terms of families, in terms of marriages, it can be really good in the sense that marriages are built stronger, you know, families are built stronger during this time, connecting during this time. Or everything falls apart, marriages fall apart, the whole issue with the gender-based violence, it can go either or. And I feel like if we're not prepared, if we don't realize that, because the Bible talks about how we have an adversary, you know what I mean, like we have an enemy, the devil, who looks to steal. He's prowling, looking who he can steal, kill and destroy, you know. And I just want us to counter that. You know, the scriptures even talk about foxes in the vineyard, you know what I mean, those little things that if they stay for long, or if they're not dealt with, if they're not removed, they can destroy the vineyard. So I just want to share a few things that I feel can strengthen your marriage, strengthen your family unit, you know, during this lockdown time. Let's get into it. So the first thing that I'll say definitely is reading your word and prayer, guys. Like I've mentioned in other videos about how the Bible talks about prayer being a weapon, you know what I mean. Like we need to consciously be in prayer for our families, for our marriages, you know what I mean, it's for our children during this time, along with everything else related to this pandemic that's going on. But with regards to this video specifically, we need to be in prayer. We need to build prayer lives together as husbands and wives, because I'm assuming that a lot of us don't work together on a normal basis. Like outside of the lockdown, a lot of us have separate jobs, you know what I mean, separate companies that we work for, or maybe one spouse stays home, the other goes to work, that kind of thing. It's a very a very small percentage that actually this is their normal day-to-day life, you know, outside of being able to leave, run errands however they want. Basically, most of us spend our days apart and come together in the evening for a very short period of time. So this lockdown is very abnormal for most of us to be spending this amount of time with our spouses. So we really need to use this time to really build our spiritual lives together as husbands and wives, as families. Like if your children are old enough to engage and be able to understand the scriptures, and praying as well. So that's something that is like top of the list, where it's like oskanyatsa, like tapelo, guys, like tlareskaranyatsa tapelo. My Botswana, yes. let's not take that for granted, because that's the weapon that we use to fight against our adversary. 2, routine. Again, like I mentioned in the previous point, this is not our normal routine. Let's say, for example, with me, I stay home most days. Isaac works away from home. So for most of us, we need to build some kind of routine, some kind of normalcy that isn't too far from our normal lives. For example, now as a wife, don't expect your husband to do like 50% of the work in the house, or like 60% of the work, or even 40, because that's not your normal, right? I'm not saying he can't help around the house. That's not what I'm saying. Of course he should help around, but I'm saying try to keep your routine as close to your normalcy as possible, and I'll explain why in the next point. So it's critical to have a routine. Like, don't just be in your pajamas the whole day, that kind of stuff. Have a routine. Then the next one, like I said in the previous point, have a routine. Why do I say that? Because I find that when you have excess time, or when the dynamic switches and you are together now in the house, there are so many expectations that arise, you know, where it's like in normal life, these aren't the expectations, so why are they there now, you know? And you end up feeling like, okay, this person isn't helping out, but they're home like all the time now, like, you know, which is why I stress having a routine, because most people who worked in corporate jobs are working from home, you know. Obviously it's not exactly the same, but they still have, there are still there's work that is required of them, let me put it that way. So I feel like within this point, expectations need to be communicated, and you need to have realistic expectations. In this time, this is what I was thinking would happen, you know what I mean? And to also have realistic expectations, ladies, this is not gonna last forever in Jesus' name. It's not gonna last forever, so you also don't want to have an unrealistic routine, which is gonna make it harder for you to transition back into normal life, you know. So have realistic expectations and communicate those expectations as well. Next on my point, do the deed, guys. Let us dance. Let us dance. I'm just gonna keep it 100. I'm just gonna keep it 100, because, you know, sometimes like that's why a routine is also really important in this regard, because sometimes like in marriage, like life can just get so busy that ends up being on the back burner, you know. And intimacy in marriage is so important, like sex in marriage is so important, and I feel like in this time it's the perfect time for you to just reconnect, you know what I mean, just enjoy each other again, you know, just to discover that, rediscover that flame, or kindle it, ablaze it, pour some paraffin, you know what I mean? Not literally, because some people be wilding out here, but yeah, I just want to encourage you to be intimate with one another in that way, and I just want to encourage you to enjoy each other, you know. You know, like in how Song of Solomon is like, you know, I'm intoxicated, you know, all that stuff. Enjoy each other, that's what I'm trying to get at. It is taking a bit too long, but let's get it done. Date night, guys. Yo, still prioritize it. Don't think that just because you're home together all day long, you don't need to set aside time to really connect, you know. Really connect with each other, really find out where you're at. Yeah, let's not take that for granted. Let's still prioritize that, because during the day you're still busy, like there's stuff that you like, the to-do lists that you still need to get done, you know. So let's still prioritize that date night culture. And it's perfect now, because it's not about all the glitz and glamour, you know what I mean? Are you still gonna have a date night if it's in your living room or just sitting outside talking, you know? Now is the time to really see what you've valued about date night. Is it about going to that restaurant, or is it about connecting with your spouse? And the next one is don't nag, sis. Don't nag. Rita, I'm talking to you. So yeah, like again, like, this is such an abnormal scenario. It's an abnormal situation. So there will arise situations, there will be opportunities presented for you to nag, or for you to get frustrated. Okay, he's here, but why isn't he doing this? Why isn't he doing that? Why isn't he implementing 1, 2, 3? You know what I mean? And something that I mentioned in a previous video, I'll link it somewhere, was about the secret to get your man to do what you want. Get it, girl? Is to pray, guys. Like, if there's something that you feel you've mentioned to your husband, okay, this would be nice, you know, you can mention it, right? But don't constantly nag him about him. Go to God with it in prayer, you know. And in prayer, again, like, if you're really submitted to God, he will either change your heart about the situation, he will show you the perspective from your husband's point of view, you know what I mean, from your spouse's point of view. Actually, he's like this because of 1, 2, 3, you know. So extend grace, extend mercy. Or the one that I like more, he will actually change your husband's heart. So let's not nag, guys. Like, there's the opportunity, like the temptation to nag is so enticing, you know. It's so enticing. And sometimes in our nagging is a sense of like self-righteousness, or like, I'm doing whatever, why aren't you doing it when I'm doing it? You know, that's self-righteousness. So let's just cut it, sis. Just cut it. Pray about it, you know. You can mention it in a loving and a respectful manner, but don't nag, don't talk about it every single day. So yeah, I pray that you'd be strengthened in your marriages. I pray that you'd be strengthened in the word and in your time of prayer with God, and that, yeah, you'd come out of this lockdown stronger, you know what I mean, that you'd have open lines of communication. That's another one, that you communicate openly with your spouse about where you're at. And that could happen on your date nights, you know. Okay, like, let's just be open with one another, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know down below, actually. Comment down below and let me know what you think is important during this lockdown, especially if you don't usually spend like the whole day with your spouse. What you think could enhance your marriage, or make this lockdown, take advantage of the lockdown, basically. Let me know what you will be implementing more of from the stuff that I mentioned, that I listed. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe and like and do the bell thing so you get notified every time I post a new video. That is all for today, guys. Thank you and bye-bye. Bye.